Hello, welcome to part 2 of our Gatefold tutorial. I'm Jennifer, and today we're going to be working on our hinge and our pocket pages. All of the measurements and materials you're going to need are going to be listed in the description box below. I'm going to begin off today by taking a piece of cardstock that is 5 7/8 by 6 inches, and I'm going to be scoring it on the 6-inch side. Our first score mark is going to be at 1 1/4, then 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 3 3/4, 4 1/4, and then finally 4 3/4. You are going to want to repeat this to your next piece of 5 7/8 by 6. I did one off camera, so you will have 2 to do. Now we're going to create our peaks and valleys by pinching the first 2 score marks together to make a mountain. And then we're going to skip the next space. That's going to make our gusset. Then we pinch the next 2 together to make another mountain. We skip the next space, and that's going to be our gusset. And then we pinch the last 2 together to make another peak. Now we should have 3 mountains with 2 valleys or gussets in between the mountains. I'm also going to be linking a video to Margaret Naab of Margaret Naab Designs. She has a great video on making this type of hinge, which is a hidden hinge, and a couple other types of hinges. And she goes into great depth about how to create them at different sizes. And yeah, I just wanted to give her a shout out and link her video to this. If you have trouble understanding how I did mine, give her video a watch. Flipping your hinge to the back side, we're going to take our adhesive. I'm using wet glue or glitter. You can also use score tape, but over time, score tape will loosen. So I go ahead and I use wet glue all the time for my hinges and pages. So we're going to glue on the inside of the peaks. We glue those together, make sure they're nice and sealed, and we're going to do that for all 3. Here I'm doing the same thing to the first hinge that I made ahead of time. So altogether you're going to have 2 hinges for this album, both at 5 7/8 by 6 inches. Putting our hinges aside, now we're going to work on making our pocket pages. I have 6 pieces of cardstock measuring 6 inches by 7 inches, and I have 6 other pieces of cardstock measuring 6 by 6 inches. First, we're going to take the 6 by 7 pages, and we're going to score 1/2 inch on each side of the 7-inch side. These first 6 pages we're scoring are going to be the base of our pocket pages. We're going to fold over each of our score lines now and give it a nice burnish down with our bone folder, making sure our score lines are nice and crisp. I'm bringing in my other piece of 6 by 6 cardstock to make sure it fits and lines up, and it does. So I'm going to continue this process for the next 5 pieces. So now it's time to assemble our pocket pages. You're going to grab your 6 pieces of cardstock that we scored 1/2 inch on each side, and your 6 pieces of cardstock that are just 6 by 6. Here I'm going to give my score lines an extra little burnish with my bone folder. Then I'm taking my wet adhesive, I'm using Art Glitter Glue, and I'm putting it just on the 2 flaps that we scored. And then I'm taking my 6 by 6 piece and I'm laying it on top, and I'm making sure that it's lined up on each side. There's no overhang, and then I'm going to give that a burnish down with my bone folder. And we're going to go ahead and repeat this for the next 5 pages. Okay, so let's now grab our base album. Here you see I already decorated the front. I accidentally went ahead of myself one day and forgot I was making a video tutorial and went ahead and decorated it. Oopsie. But anyway, now we're gonna glue down our hinges. So I'm applying my art glitter glue here all over the back side of this hinge, and that's gonna go in the middle on our second piece here. The first piece is our cover, and then the second piece of chipboard right there is our spine. So I'm making sure I have a 1/4 inch space on each side of my mountains here before I go ahead and glue it down. Going to get out your bone folder and give that a good burnish as well. And we're going to do the same thing on the right side. The second piece of chipboard from the right, that is our spine. We're going to glue our hinge down on the middle of that spine. I just want to make sure it's even here with the left side, so I'm taking out my ruler, make sure I have it all lined up, and then I'm going to give it a good burnish down with my bone folder. Using my bone folder, I'm going to go in between my spine chipboard and my back cover pieces of chipboard and make a light crease line in between each two so that we get a nice bend when we fold our book up to make our bends and to close it. I'm going to do this really lightly so I don't poke through the paper. I don't want to tear my paper, and I don't want it to crack on the spines on the outside either. So here we go. It comes together real nice. So then I'm just going to do the exact same thing to the right side. Now to finish the inside, we're going to want to grab the rest of our cardstock pieces. We needed 2 that are 6 by 3 and 1 that is 6 by 6 1/4. The big piece here is going to go in the back cover. I'm using my art glitter glue to glue this down. After I glue this down, I'm going to then take my other two pieces of 6x3 and glue those down, one on the left and one on the right of the inside covers. It's almost time to put our pocket pages in, but first we're going to trim down each of the little corners on our hinges here. I'll show you a little close up. We're just going to snip, boom, just a little piece off the top of each one, the top and the bottom on both hinges. It's time to add our pocket pages in, but for this gatefold, we can't just put them in any certain way. There's a certain order you have to go in. So on the left side here, we're going to put our glue on the very first hinge, and then I'm going to add my page on, and I'll make sure that's nice and secure and glued down. I'm going to press on it from the bottom, and then I'm going to fold it over both sides and burnish it down with my bone folder. Now I'm going to grab my second pocket page, and I'm going to go to the right side, all the way to the far right hinge, that first one. I'm going to put glue on it on both sides of that hinge, and I'm going to add a pocket page on that one, the same way I did for the first page. And then you're going to repeat this process. So we're going to go back to the left side, that second hinge, which is the middle one, put a pocket page on that one. Then we're going to come back to the right side, that middle hinge on the right, put a pocket page on that one. And then lastly, go back to the left side, put a pocket page on that last hinge, and then come to the right side and add your last page onto that last hinge. This is our last page to glue in, and that's going to conclude the base construction of our gatefold album. To close it, we just put left to right, each page left to right over top each other, and then it's going to slide closed to where the covers meet each other, like so. It also has a magnetic closure that I made. I will put the description on how I made that in the description box below, because I made it off camera by accident. Thank you for joining me for this first tutorial ever of mine. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you think in the comments.